this week is going to be a very critical week for the Middle East. And part of the reason it is such an incredibly pivotal week, as most of, if not all of you know, is that we, at this week, will be watching the Palestinian Authority as they will be going to the United Nations for a bid for unilateral statehood outside the framework of negotiations. And even though, as we all know, they will not be able to go through the Security Council because the American administration has promised to veto this, they will go to the General Assembly. They will most likely get a majority, most definitely get a majority of the votes. And part of the reason why is because of an organization which used to be called the Organization of the Islamic Conference. Now I think it's named the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation. And Deborah Weiss is an incredible expert on this institution. It is the second largest member organization within the United Nations. It has 57 nations that are a part of it. And it has allied itself with the non-allied nations, places like Cuba, Venezuela. And that is why we look at the United Nations, many of us today, and wonder, scratch our heads and wonder what became of the original noble mission statement of the United Nations. I noticed there is not a resolution against the defamation of all religions. It's just about one particular religion. And if you look at the Organization of the Islamic Corporation website right now, you will see how they mask themselves to be a human rights organization within the United Nations. And I think it's very, very important that we educate ourselves about this. Dr. Mordechai Kedar actually works, he consults with the American Armed Forces and with the Israeli Defense Forces in terms of understanding the sociological and tribal aspects of the Middle East that unfortunately we in the West have had a very hard time wrapping our arms around for a very, very long time. Dr. Mati Kedar is also the president of the new Academic Center for the Study of the Middle East at Bar Ilan University. And it is my pleasure to introduce you to him because, as we well know, many of us who follow this issue extremely closely, Senator John Kyle many years ago wrote to the Islamic Study Academy in Northern Virginia asking them to change their textbooks. In a few minutes, James Lafferty will talk about the Islamic Study Academy of Northern Virginia. But Nina Shea, who's done tremendous work on this issue at the Hudson Institute Center for Religious Freedom, just published a study last week about this. And I have the information here from the textbooks that are in the Islamic Study Academy of Northern Virginia. And unfortunately, they are being sent to every Islamic Sunni academy in the United States. Unfortunately, if there is an imam or a Muslim who wants to establish a Muslim school, all they have to do is write to the Saudis. The Saudis are so rich in petrodollars that they can build the school and they furnish the textbooks. But along with the textbooks, they furnish the hatred. So I just downloaded just some segments of Nina Shea's groundbreaking new study. And this is what is being taught in American textbooks today. I'm going to give Dr. Mordechai Kedar the original Arabic, and he's going to translate it for you. Thank you very much. Without further ado, here's Dr. Mordechai Kedar.
Thanks, Sarah, for giving me the pulpit with such a short notice. but as you know, professors know everything and nothing but. So the last thing which we are afraid of is the pulpit. Secondly, I thank David Bedin, who is right behind you, who brought me here in some kind of a campaign against the continuation of UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Work Agency, which actually has a destructive role in whatever concerns the Middle East, and especially the peace, the cause of peace between Israel and its neighbors. And I thank you all for listening so far. Before I start, in my 2-hour, don't. First of all, I check if you listen by this way. Secondly, at 2:30 I have a cab outside which will take me to the Al Khurra studios, where I'm supposed to speak at 3 about what happens in the United Nations, which I have no clue about because I'm here, I'm not there, but you know, still I might contribute to the discussion over there. I must tell you, this morning when I had an excellent breakfast in Silver Spring, in the Stern mansion, I saw Arabic on the desk, you know, and since Arabic, I like Arabic, and you know, here in this country you speak only English, so I looked at this, and I almost fell off my chair. It is a book which is published by the kingdom, the Saudi kingdom, and it's distributed for free, as it says. And it is a school book, textbook for the first class of secondary school. Means I think it's 7th, because they have 6 years and then 6 years. And so this is what they write there. And when I read it, I got the goosebumps, because it's something which, if this was written in the 7th century, I would say, okay, this was the culture of the 7th century. But it was printed in 2010, after Christ, not before Christ, okay? And this is amazing, how they keep repeating things which were written in that 7th century. And unfortunately, this is what they disseminate. About amputating a thief. Exactly, they show in an image where his hand should be cut, in the wrist, and where his foot should be cut, because he stole something above dirham, above like maybe $50, something like this, as a punishment according to the Sharia law. Okay? Wait, it will come here. And many other things, especially how you defined kuffar, means infidels, what you should do with kuffar. And of course, everyone who is not Muslim is a kafir, is an infidel. And the worst punishment is on those who are depicted as a murtadun, means those who leave Islam, those who were born Muslims or converted to Islam, and they leave Islam. They are the worst, because they are from within. They go out. They are not infidels like those who never were Muslims. They are worse because they were Muslims once and they turned their backs against Islam. So, and this is, as I heard, disseminated or given for free, and it says it's for free, in this country maybe as well, in Islamic schools. And I highly recommend that people start looking into what is written in books which are given to American boys and girls who learn in schools run by those people who take these books for free from the Saudis. And parts of this book were translated to English, and translation is fairly good. So I highly recommend to publish it and to see. what we did, means David Yerushalmi and myself, did not go into school books. It went into texts which are found and disseminated in mosques, but in many places, a mosque also serves as a school for youngsters. Something more like, you know it from the Jewish centers, which are a synagogue and also serves as a kindergarten and maybe school as well. The same, and you know what, in many things, Muslims actually follow Jews in the way how the public issues are being arranged, all kinds of organizations, functions, and they have also this organization which imitates AIPAC in order to promote Islam in this country in this Capitol Hill. So definitely America, if America wants to survive as a state, as a democratic state, open state, which honors human rights, women's rights, gays and lesbians' rights, minorities' rights, and all these rights, it should open a very, very careful eye on what is disseminated by the Saudis inside those schools through these school books. And I highly recommend to refer to Sarah's book, which will be published in a month, not from today, because these quotations from those books appear in that book.
But right now you could see it in Nina Shea. Nina Shea has a wonderful study that's put out by the Center for Religious Freedom at Hudson Institute. And if you just want to read some of the Arabic, these are an American...
A woman cannot go out without head cover because this is forbidden. Okay? How many women here are veiled? Means you're all right. Because means according to this book, which was printed a year ago, we are all violate. No, we women are all violate a law which says that they all should be covered, at least from the age of 12 or more or less. Okay? So all these things which totally contradict anything which America believes in, and I think so. And this is why these things should be well looked into by the Americans. Thank you very much.